Back at it. Picking up on Hebrews chapter 5. Shalom to the household of faith, giving all praise, glory, and honor to our Father, YAHAWAH, through his only begotten Son. All right, the mediator and high priest, Mashiach YAHAWASHI. Peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, beginning with 144,000, down to the rest of the 1/3. Men, women, and children of the household of faith. Double honors to the elect elders, a great millstone, the apostles, the bishops. And we're going to pick right on up at Hebrews 5, the perfect high priest. The perfect high priest. And from this chapter, to me, it starts to get really good. It starts to get really deep, dealing with Melchizedek and the new covenant and things like that in the various chapters. And then even down to chapter 11, going into the different accounts of faith from our forefathers. This gets really good. So I'm going to go ahead and get through this. This is a short chapter. I might just go ahead and do 5 and 6, but we'll see how it goes. Hebrews 5:1, it says, "For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men and things pertaining to God, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with infirmity." Yeah, so that's why the Most High punishes, because when you look at Yahawashi, he came, even though he lived the perfect, sinless life, he was still around those that were sick and suffering and full of infirmities. And he, at the end of the day, he suffered at the very end, the worst. So he has various perspectives on, what we go through. And that's what makes him the perfect high priest, because the compassion, the love, he wasn't corrupted. That's another thing, because you had some priests that were corrupted. You could let me see. Because the priests were supposed to be the mediator class, but you had corrupted priests. You had some examples where Hophni and Phinehas, sons of Eli, and what did they do in 1 Samuel 2? They stole from the sacrifices brought by the people. They slept with women at the entrance to the tabernacle. God's response, he pronounced judgment on Eli's household, and they were later killed in battle. You had corrupt priests. In Jeremiah's day, priests and prophets were described as greedy, deceitful, and morally corrupt. Jeremiah 6:23. From the least to the greatest, all are greedy for gain. Prophets and priests alike all practice deceit. The priests rebuked in Malachi. Yeah. What they did, they offered defiled sacrifices, taught the law in a corrupt way, failed to honor God. New Testament, scribes, Pharisees, and chief priests, what they did, loved titles and prestige, hypocritically enforced the law, exploited windows, and oppressed the people. High priest Caiaphas in a plot to kill Yahawashi. He and others plotted to kill Yahawashi for political convenience. It is better for you that one man die for the people than the whole nation perish. So this has been an issue, but when it comes down to the Messiah, Yahawashi Mashiach, he was perfect because he wasn't corrupted. He was the pure lamb. So is that verse Hebrews 5:2? Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way? Because what is one thing he said? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That's compassion on the ignorant. It says for that he himself also is compassed with infirmity. Right, because I think and let's see if that cross references Isaiah 53. But 2 Corinthians 11:30, if I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities. Yeah, I don't think there's an account of Yahawashi having infirmity, but I'm thinking of Isaiah 53, where it says he was a man well acquainted with grief. But verse 3 says, and by reason hereof he ought, as for the people so also for himself to offer for sins. I'm going to read that again. And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, he also for himself to offer for sins. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of God, as was Aaron. So was Christ glorified, not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee. So again, YAHAWASHI glorified not himself to be made an high priest. Yeah, because he was set up in the spirit, so he wasn't out here trying to, I'm the new high priest. He was a high priest in the spirit. It says, as he saith also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And let's get Psalms 110. Psalms 110. This is a psalm of David. The Lord gives dominion to the king. The Lord said unto my Lord, Yahweh said to YAHAWASHI, sit thou in my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send. This is 1,000 years before YAHAWASHI came on the scene. That's crazy, man. Crazy prophetic. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do with thy youth. Verse 4, the point. The Lord have sworn, Yahweh have sworn, and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Who is David talking about? He's talking about YAHAWASHI. Prophesying of YAHAWASHI. Verse 5, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Yeah, in the day when YAHAWASHI come back, he's going to take down the kings. That's why he's known as the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So that's what that's quoting. Hebrews 5:7 now, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Excuse me. Silence that. Phone ain't ring all morning. It says, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Yeah, that was a good son, man. This is my beloved son, whom I'm well pleased. Why? Because he was obedient. The Father is well pleased with obedience, because obedience is better than what? Than the sacrifice. He'd rather you obey than to not disobey and then offer the sacrifice. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me. Even though it's hard, But this is Corinthians, Philippians 2:8. And being found in the fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Yeah, he humbled himself as a man. Here it is, the second, the top spirit in existence under the Heavenly Father. And you allow your creation to put you down and lie on you and disrespect you. Crazy humility. But he was doing it in the spirit of being obedient to the Father, which is why now he's being glorified and he's going to receive the rest of the glory when he come back. Hebrews 5:9, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal. How was he made perfect? Through suffering. He became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Yeah, and the only ones that's going to obey him are the house of David, the elect. That's it. All you people talking about, oh, the world, the world, the world. Well, you look at right now, who in the world obeys him? High priestly prayer. Because the only people that's going to obey him is the house of the elect, the household of faith, the ones he died for. And that's who he prayed for here. John 17. And 9, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me. For they are thine, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. This is the elect. You had the apostles who went first, and then they brought in who? Believers, the ones that listen. The circumcision came in first, the disciples. Then you had those are the circumcision and throughout the Holy Land, and then on down to the Gentiles. That's who he prayed for. That's who he died for. The disciples in this world. John 17 and 16, 15. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. Yeah, because the only ones that's going to receive the truth are the elect, and those are the ones sanctified. Nobody else is sanctified to receive the 100% truth. And in receiving the truth, you're going to obey the Most High through YAHAWASHI, man. Following the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Hebrews 5 and 10, called of God and high priest after the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing. For for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and become such as have need of milk and not strong meat. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. For strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Yeah, and this is a hella metaphorical for basically when the Lord likens us to little children being born again, and you, as babies, you start off with milk, and the milk is likened into the basics, the sweet parts of the truth, the basics of learning the truth about the Messiah, his skin tone, his nationality, what nationality is the chosen nationality, why that matters, who is salvation pertain into. It's all those basics, those foundational things that build you up, and then you're able to grow and become more aged and seasoned, and now you have more understanding, right? You're again, your senses are more exercised to discern both good and evil. Now you become not as simple. You done took some bruises, some falls, some L's. Now the Most High crank the heat up on you a little bit more. You're able to go through more shit. Your faith is built. You're more tested, battle tested, strong meat. So the Most High takes us through a process. Yahweh shall take us through a process in this thing. It's a growth. It's a you come in with youthful zeal, and then you age out, and then you become more patient. You realize this is a marathon and not a race. Strong meat. We're looking like on the time, 13 minutes. We'll go ahead and close it there, and I'll come back with chapter 6. All right, so we'll end there. Chapter 6, 7 and 8. I'm looking forward to, and 9. I'm looking forward to going into those. So we'll go ahead and hit those next. Shalom.